What do you think the dark side of fame is?
The dark side of fame. I don't think that as humans we are meant to be what we say is famous, quote unquote. I think that we're extremely social, but I think that the groups that we move in, I don't know if it was in like Sapiens or something, but like there's a number, isn't there, of people that we technically can like coexist with happily with that equilibrium. I can't remember what number it is, but it's not as much as people think. So I think anyone that's exposed to a level of attention and fame is already kind of breaking that threshold of mental comfort. And the thing that's scary about that is you don't realize how weird and abnormal that position is until you're quite deep into it. So it's not like, I don't know, it's not like jumping into a freezing cold lake and be like, oh my God, that's crazy, I'm going to get back out. It's like a very gradual kind of like walking into a river that gets slightly colder as you go. Before you realize you're like, shit, this is crazy. I think the dark side of fame, I think the scary thing with fame is how fleeting it is and fragile as well. I think a lot of people go in head first and, you know, do what we were saying before, drugs, alcohol, spend loads of money, make crazy decisions. And then the fame or whatever, the society moves on, especially with the nature of social media and Spotify and stuff. And then you're kind of left behind and you're kind of a bit damaged and broken. I think there's a lot of positives or opportunities to do good things from fame, but I think actually at the crux of it, no one really should be famous. And there's this weird irony that the most talented, creative visionaries of music, art, dance, whatever, culture that are famous are the exact people that should really never be famous, because most of those sorts of people are up and down all the time. They're like, you know, typically quite manic depressants, you know, really eccentric and incredibly gifted, colorful people. That fame kind of just destroys them. I don't know too many people that are incredibly famous that I would view as like completely fulfilled or happy. Because also from a money perspective, you know, it's not that strange to me anyway, knowing that or seeing that, you know, people that get really famous really young kind of have like car crash moments in their early years, because again, it's like people, and I know that we're starting to gradually shift this kind of like this mindset, but really most people in the world still kind of work a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday for, I mean, the retirement age keeps on going up. I don't even know what it is now. It's probably 70 in the UK now for all I know, 68, 69, I don't know. But, you know, you work for the best part of 50 years, then you retire, you have, you know, if you're lucky, 20, 25 years, probably less now, probably 10, and then you die and you kind of, you know, and you pay your mortgage off, hopefully, if you're very lucky in the last kind of third of your working life, or maybe at the end, in that, you know, it's probably a lot less people actually that do that than they used to when it was our parents' generation. But the whole model of society is based on you kind of work gradually over your life and you have the occasional holiday. Again, people can't afford to do that anymore. And you kind of, you know, people kind of have similar lives, right? And you have goals that some of them you achieve, but the big goals, the real goals that we all set in our heads, or we think the goals of having, I don't know, a really big house by the sea, or like this car, this guitar, this perpetual calendar. Like most of us never get those things, but they're kind of goals that are there. It's like we all fucking play. Well, I don't, but people play the lottery, and you know, most people never win, right? If all of a sudden you win the lottery at the age of 17, that drive and like determination, those goals getting met, just are, it just, you lose. It's like your compass just completely stops or won't stop spinning. It's like, what do you do? And I think fame, big fame, like, I mean, like life-changing fame where you make a hell of a lot of money when you're young, that is something that, again, I don't think is part of what should happen in society, because you just get lost. We kind of we are programmed to never really achieve all of our goals, I think. And I think that's a good thing because it keeps us hungry. It gives us a purpose in life. If you're massively famous, what's your purpose? You know, people go to philanthropy and stuff. Cool. But often to get to that point, you do a lot of like massively like disastrous decisions before that point and probably hurt a lot of people and often end up dead. So fame is a weird one, man. I think the dream level of fame is like a little bit famous. But do you know what I mean? Like crazy fame is not something I think is good for anyone.
Yeah, yeah. I do think that the purpose thing that you said there is absolutely true. There's a name for it. I'm sure they call it like gold medal syndrome or something like that. It's like when people in the Olympics reach that point and they actually get the gold medal, they walk away and they think, "Fuck, what do I do now?"
Yeah,
and they're like, "Well, that's my whole life. Is it's all been for this, and now I have nothing." Like they've won it, and all of a sudden, instead of feeling incredible excitement and proud, they feel depressed. And it's like because they've hit the ceiling, and they're like, well, where else do I go? And that's why I think it's super important in any industry. And this is what I've done, and I kind of not direct, but I try and advise people to do that come to me asking is diversify. So like if you're good at photography and you have a big Instagram following, start getting into videography and then start doing YouTube and start doing Photoshop and stuff. Like, because if you diversify, then you've got what one thing might take off, but it will come down. Like what goes up will come down. So you might wrap your identity around YouTube and then all of a sudden the YouTube channel drops off. And it's like, well, who are you? Whereas like if you have a podcast, a YouTube channel, an Instagram page, you're a photographer, you're a videographer, you can do all these different things. It's like, well, YouTube's dropped off, but now I'm going to focus on the podcast and I'll keep that running until it comes back, but I've got different stuff that I'm doing. Whereas people, especially musicians, they'll be like, I'm part of this band, that band is my identity. And if it hits a level of fame and then kind of it starts to dwindle, they think, fuck, I don't know who I am anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And then also at that point as well, like how many 20-year-olds do you know that sell businesses for like 50 million quid that one are happy like in the long run and then two don't end up working in something else again? Like we are not like people do not just, I mean, I'm sure there are some people that somehow do it, but most people I know that got very successful very young, whether it's selling businesses or whatever, they lie on a beach for 3 months, but then they come back miserable and end up working again. It's like, and that's why with the diversifying thing, that's interesting as well, because you put, and I'm kind of in this category, all my eggs are in the world of music. I mean, like I do stuff in the watch worlds too, but like the main thing is music for me because I'm a musician. I love it. Like, but I think if there are, if people do have a variety of different interests, you're right. It's like if one thing, like you mentioned, if the YouTube channel drops off, but dude, what happens if YouTube in its entirety just goes and all of a sudden there's a new app, like what happened with, TikTok and somehow Instagram is now back again. But like, YouTube was dwindling, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, right? And now that's kind of back with the shorts. And like, you think like we used to have Musical.ly or the other Vine, like,
oh, Vine was huge.
They're dead. Like, so yeah, diversifying is key, man. And I'm not very good at that. So yeah.
If you guys enjoyed that clip, please do me a huge favor before you go and head over to our Into the Mind podcast official page where we have the raw, uncut Into the Mind podcast and hit that subscribe button. And the more subscribers we get, the more incredible guests we can get on the show. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. And I'll see you all real soon.